Well, what's up, everybody? This is D, and since we started from this left to right and we're talking about the natural progression, I got to start off with my newest and last tank, which is pretty much my little feng shui garden. Now, this is basically started from my koi beta, which I refused to put him in a little bowl, and I already had this little tank that I was planning on bringing in my white clouds. But since that pothos grew and took off, as I always say, I hate putting a lot of tanks out because they become another project, which this one did. This became my starter. I don't want to call it a lagoon, but it's like my little marsh for my koi beta. This guy is cool, isn't he? Always hard to focus because his colors are so odd. But basically, this is a few of the plants that I brought in from outside. The Java fern, which is only a little piece, some anubis, the pothos, and just miscellaneous hornwort and things like that, pennywort, squeezed into the corner there. But the star of this area is my succulent. This started out from a little plant that my daughter bought at the Bronx Botanical Gardens. I put a little rock in the middle, and I just think this is the coolest little succulent. It's actually two different succulents in about a palm's worth of soil with a little branch of wood that's growing out. This had growth on it. I let it dry out, and it looks like pretty much a little bonsai, little succulent. So I thought this just added so much character to the little lagoon area because it's a natural progression. And in this video, I'm going to squeeze in the other two planted tanks. But since I started with the lagoon and the nano, I figured I had to start here. And just to be interesting, this is also running off that same marine land light that is powering the lagoon and growing this green growth and growing the little zinnia that sprouted out there. So that's a little sign off as to knowing what plants will grow where. I don't know if that pennywort is going to do well over there because it's so shaded, and it's just basically run off of a little sponge filter. I have a box filter there if I need to use it, but I haven't used it. But just a little sponge filter and a little bit of light. I do water changes here maybe once a week, and this is about I want to say this is a 2.5 gallon tank, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's 2.5 gallons. And that's it. So this is my little beta house, and this is the first section of the video. Say hello to everybody. Well, now that brings us to the noisy side of the house, which if you see my last video, you'll know that it is caused by the old Ocyon pump that I'm going to replace very soon because it's driving me absolutely nuts. So this is my what started out as quarantine but has become a home for all my miscellaneous dither fish. Right now it is housing all of the fish that I brought in from the 70-gallon pond outside, which was all my white clouds, my minnows, some hybrid guppies, and just basically dither fish. There are quite a few red cherry shrimp in there. It's probably absolutely difficult to catch them on film. There are some autocinclus, which are also very, very difficult to catch on film. But if you look at all the root and grass growth, it's pretty much an extension of the lagoon, but a freshwater, powered by this internal pump, which gets cleaned probably once every 2 weeks. I don't clean it too often. I just top it off, but I keep the water level pretty low in this system because I just think it highlights the plants that much more. I don't fertilize this tank, so growth dies, I remove it and let the new growth grow in, and just kind of let this run on its own. This is a 10-gallon tank, and it is nothing but a holding tank for my little babies. Remember the Call of Duty background? That's how long this tank has been running, since Call of Duty Ghosts. We're up to like Black Ops 4 or something now. Which finally brings me to the extra high planted tank, which is currently housing my paradise fish, which have come in from the cold. They're living it up. They're so used to me filming that they pretty much smile for the camera now. Say hello. There's my brilliant male. Getting used to home life. They pretty much went from a 6-foot tank to the 20 extra high, so they're not swimming as much as they used to. And they get a little rougher with each other because they have to deal with each other that much more. This is a 20 extra high, powered by the Aqua Clear 30, I believe. Little titanium heater, miscellaneous plants, and I recently switched out my T5 fixture, which burnt out, with my LED that I had growing over the Aqua Springs tank. So far it's doing a pretty good job. Shoots light pretty far down. I'm going to probably try to move a few more of the plants from outside inside and see how they do. But the pennywort seems to be growing downward pretty well. It's quite a combination of fish in here. I just lost a black skirt tetra that was probably about 5 years old. But my angel, I'm trying to get the glare out. My angel has grown by a ton. Look how big this guy is. The root growth is just astonishing. Get a lot of root growth. I don't fertilize this tank, although I just did drop a little iron supplement just because I'm planning on moving some plants inside and I wanted to get a little more growth on this. These leaves were showing some yellowing. Now they're nice, clean, and green. I have to attribute that to a little of the Flourish XL. I dropped in about a half a capful. One thing I also did, since I moved those fish from outside in here, the rainbows I brought in from the greenhouse, they're doing all right. It's pretty crowded in there. The Congos are still in there. But now I have the rainbows in there, I have the paradise fish in there. The plecos are down there. You may be able to see one now in the little corner. And yeah, that pump is, there's another one. That pump is ridiculously loud. And this tank is pretty much my cruise control tank. I will be bringing some of the water from the outside tub into this tank because I just think that that natural rainwater did miracles for the fish and the coloration. I mean, if you look at the colors, these guys are really bright. Even the rainbows. This is pretty much my last few. This tetra is probably also about 5 years old. These guys, I don't know how long they live, but I hate when they get old and, you know, they're like losing pets. No one really knows how long those guys live, but they're really docile fish and great for a community tank. I want to also add that I've donated 3 of my baby paradise fish from outside, which are about quarter size of the parents, to my local high school's marine lab. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them grow out there. Really pretty fish. And that's it. That is the freshwater side of the fish house. Leave your comments below. Other than the obvious that that pump is really irritating and noisy. If you got any ideas of a good replacement, let me know. There's one of my fry sitting on a leaf. I'm trying to catch a picture without spooking them. They love those leaves. Till next time, this is D from Brooklyn, signing out. Love, peace, and hair grease. Keep those tanks and keep them quieter than mine.